Okay, this will be an interesting one. It's a boring one once again, but we can make it look good somehow. So we're just gonna go there and there. There are the badges, as usual. See how big we're gonna make this. Going at 200. Wondering if we're going to make this a negative positive with a background colour added because it's a boring original. It's just really boring, dull, shitty. Gonna go with yellow this time. Actually can't use that, we're using this. Gonna hue it cool. Alright, let's see what we have, what we got. It's a Michael Hill catalogue or whatever you call it. And we're just going to photocopy this person here, the smile. So yeah, some of this is to do with weddings, like Christmas Proposal Guide it's called, or it says it there, Christmas Proposal Guide. But when I get married to Luigi, I'm not going to worry about what kind of stone he's going to give me as an engagement ring. I'm not going to worry about it, folks, because I love Luigi and his love is beautiful. He doesn't need to make me happy by giving me the biggest, chunkiest stone in a ring. Because, of course I'd like an engagement ring, but I'm not fussed if he just buys a little stone, whatever. I'm not going to be demanding on him, because what's the point, Like, if you love somebody, you're not going to demand that they buy you everything and spoil you rotten. He probably will spoil me rotten. He's a beautiful man. He's nothing like a lot of the men that I see today. Now that looks shit house. He's nothing like a lot of the men I see today in this world who don't know how to love their woman, and they think that buying a big stone is going to somehow make them better people. The woman's going to be impressed with the man if he buys her a big rock in an engagement ring. But that's not the case. Just because if the man's abusive and mean and horrible and shit like that, no ring is going to stop the woman from feeling a victim. The relationship's trash. There's no such thing as, but sometimes men are like that. They try to be charming for the woman, even though the woman finds that he's abusive. So love is the most important thing in a relationship, more than the stone or the rings. I know that when you get married, you're gonna basically let's use this. You basically get a ring, right? That's the way it is. You're always exchanging rings. There's always a ring involved, pretty much, in a wedding. But why be fussed with what you get? If the man loves you, that's the most important thing. So let's see how we go with this. I'm trying to make this look really good. This is really difficult to control movement. Yeah, that looks interesting. Maybe, I wonder if we can use it. I'm going to just take a section out of this image and enlarge it. So that's an interesting wobbly looking image we have here. I think we're going to make it about, I'm going to leave it on 200. But yeah, you got to love each other. That's the most important thing, is to love each other. The jewellery should come as an expression of love, not a way of bargaining your way out of the consequences of abusing your wife. So you got to basically not use the ring as a way of getting out of a problem. That because you've been abusing your wife or your girlfriend or your engagement partner. Yeah, I've been in abusive relationships myself, so I know what it's like to be in a situation which is not nice. These men were really bad, and they never even had a big rock for me, but they were abusive and they were really nasty. And basically, I had to get out of those relationships, because otherwise, who knows what could happen. You just don't know. You just can't predict. So some of these violent men are just so unpredictable. The only thing predictable about them is what they're going to do next is going to be absolutely horrid. And that you got to get out of the relationship. So now I'm talking about bad relationships now. If the man... But I'm talking about from a woman's perspective. I know that there are men who get abused by women, and in society that is sort of not kind of accepted, because it's usually associated with the man to be violent or abusive or coercive in any way. But basically women can do that too. They can get women abusing their men. So it goes both ways as well. You've got to remember that, because it's not just the male, it can be the woman as well that does the abuse. And if a woman can't, men are usually stronger and more violent, but women can use weapons. What if your wife has a knife in her hand and you can't defend yourself because she's got a knife? She's taken the kitchen knife out of the drawer and she's about to use it on you. So what do you do there? And it's like they assume that the men are always the ones that are abusive, but the women can do it too. Maybe less common, but it happens. It has to be acknowledged as well, because men need help too. If a man has to leave the house because his wife is wielding the kitchen knife, well, fuck. So he has to get out, and he has to fucking be treated with the same dignity that a female domestic violence victim would get. So it goes both ways. Maybe less common, the woman being the perpetrator, but it happens, and it has to be acknowledged that women can be bad as well. That you're not less of a man because you had to flee from your wife because she had a knife or some weapon in her hand. So yeah, it happens, folks. It happens. So let's see how we go with that. And it can be humiliating for a man, because the man wants to feel like he's a fucking man, and when his wife is being violent and he can't defend himself, it makes him feel less of a man. But that's not true. If anyone who's confronted with someone with a knife can't defend themselves unless they take up arms themselves, but you don't really want to fight like that. You want to run away and get help. But anyway, that looks really interesting. I think now we can call this demo quits.